Hi there crafters, Louise with you today. Thank you so much for popping in and checking out this video. It is a new 3 old 3 new stash busting layout, and I've pulled a couple of things including this 6x6 paper pad, some chipboard pieces, some titles, and this denim background paper. I am the type of scrapper where I really like white space, and I really like a really bright, fresh white background. I love when I see other people's creations that are just this sort of minimalist white, light, fresh and clean kind of pages, but I just can never recreate that style, and so I have to stick with my own creativity, and challenging that by using a patterned or colored background is one of those things that I do often. So to utilize some of my stash, I can pretty much guarantee most of you have 6x6 paper pads in your stashes. I am going to sort of create this torn patterned layer background. So this is a Heidi Swapp, I think it's called Wolfpack patterned paper, so it's really good for masculine pages, I feel, and the denim background worked so well with that. But what I want to do is sort of create these like torn strips, and I thought about distressing them. I hadn't really gone into this with a great deal of planning, purely just that I wanted to use this 6x6 paper pad, and I wanted to tear some strips and create this striped background. So I have already chosen a photo, which is a little bit different for me, but I thought because this is quite a masculine, dark kind of page, I needed a certain photo, and I had to choose whether that photo was going to be again, light and bright, could be family, could be just one of my boys doing something unique. But I found this one in my stash, which was Master Z with the animal of our family. It's J-Dog, our boxer boy that we bred, and I felt like it was really a neat photo in terms of the colours and how it would work with this background that I had in my mind. Now you can see I've applied some adhesive, and I haven't stuck these completely down all the way across the page. I wanted to stick them down in the middle first, just in case I changed my mind and wanted to move those layers. But as this sort of builds and adapts, I've got my tacky glue in my hand, so I'm simply just going to tacky glue some of these down now that I know where they're actually going to be placed. So once I am pretty happy, I am a little bit stuck, and I pulled some title pieces, I pulled some chipboard, I had lots of embellishments, but I felt like this sort of striped background, it was already quite busy. So I did toy with the idea of maybe rolling some gesso over it, just dulling it down and muting a little bit. When I'm creating, I like to separate my layers. So I think that my background and my embellishments or ephemera, any pieces that I'm going to add to the layout, they need to be quite separate from the photo so that the photo is not getting lost in the creation. While I do most of my creating for the therapy, it gives me the feel of making something pretty in the art portion, I don't want the photo to get lost either. So finding that balance between having this really cool stash busted pattern paper background versus letting the photo shine is a bit of a tricky one. All right, thinking about what I'm going to do here, I decide if I'm not sure what kind of medium I want to use on that background, I will go ahead and start creating either a cluster with my photo, or I'll work on my title or my journaling. So a few of the other pieces that I've got here are the chipboard thickers titles, and then some chipboard pieces as well. And after having a little bit of a think about it, I felt like I had the square of the background page, the square of the photo. I needed to have these kind of points of my triangle. And I know it sounds kind of weird, but having the circle there breaks that down into that third. So I find my layouts more pleasing when they're in threes. So you need to have 3 distinct points of that triangle. And when I'm creating, I obviously have this really large point of the triangle with the strips of pattern paper and the photo, and then where are the other the other 2 elements going to go? And so by drawing the circle, it gives me those 2 elements, and you can see I've popped a butterfly at the top, sort of height of the photo, of the circle, sorry, and then I've got this little sort of miniature cluster down in the bottom right. Now, I paused the video a little bit because the circle was working for me, but it was a bit plain and a bit boring. So I grunged it up a little bit. I pulled out some more black pens, sketched and doodled a few little lines, had a bit of a think more about what I wanted to add. I'd recently picked up some Charms Creations, so that little heart is from Charms. Great Australian small business to support if you're looking for these pieces that can go on your scrapbook pages. And of course, just a little bit of white plain cotton. It's just ordinary old cheap discount store cotton, rolled up into a messy ball to give texture, and that's going to just sit behind those elements. Now, these enamel dots were again a stash item that I pulled, and I almost forgot to put them on the layout, and I had to think quite hard about what I wanted to do with them. And I actually really like this. This is not something I do often, in actually lining them up around that circle. So it gives this really cool pop of, again, bringing in some of the brown with that sort of masculine dog part of the photo, and yeah, that Charms creation as well. So sticking with my point of my triangle, I'm going to add a little bit more area of interest over to this left hand side, and that's my layout complete. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.